everyone, it's Veronica from Blue Star Crochet. Thank you so much for joining me for this super fun and cute video tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make these cute mini Christmas crochet stockings. They use super easy color work technique that you may have heard before. It's the interlocking crochet. So let's dive into this tutorial and let's crochet together. And here are the materials that we will need for the mini Christmas stocking. So I'll be using Yarn Smith's Lagoon DK in combination with Stylecraft Special DK. I will be using a 4.5mm crochet hook, and we will also need some scissors, yarn needle and 2 stitch markers that will come in handy when we'll be working on the heel part of the stocking. Firstly, we will need to decide which yarn is going to be yarn A and yarn B. As you can see, yarn A is going to be the one that we're going to start with, the one we're going to work on the cuff and the heel. So if you want the variegated to be the dominant color on your stocking, or whichever color combination you're using, that yarn is going to be yarn A, and then the other yarn is going to be yarn B. Just to quickly explain how we're going to work, we're going to start with toe part. We're going to be working in joined rounds. Once we work up the toe part, we're going to work on the foot. Then we will split the round of the foot to kind of skip stitches for the heel. Then we will work up the leg part. Once we work up the leg, the height, we will work on the cuff. And then after all this is finished, we will pick up stitches around the heel opening and work up the heel in rounds. So the toe and the heel are worked in single crochet through back loop only. The main stocking uses the interlocking crochet technique, and then the cuff uses single crochet through back loop only, again worked in rows. If you wanted to adjust the size of your finished stocking, this is quite easy to do. Firstly, you can use a different thickness of yarn. So if you wanted to go a thinner yarn or thicker yarn to change the size, that's completely okay. Because these are for decoration purposes only, so you can use any yarn that you've got in your stash. Secondly, if you wanted to make really tiny stockings, the way to adjust is right at the start when you're working on the toe part. We are going to start working and increasing in joined rounds. So if you wanted your stocking to be much smaller, you can kind of work the first 3 rounds and then move on to the foot part. If you wanted to make it considerably bigger, you can go with thicker yarn and then just continue increasing the circle for the toe. So if I show you from this perspective, it's just a circle that we're going to be working on, and the bigger circle you make to start your toe, the bigger your finished stocking will be. Okay, so as many rounds as you make, that's going to determine the size of your stocking. Of course, to increase the size of the foot, you'll just kind of work up more rounds. Same for the leg. The cuff is determined by the amount of stitches as well, and so is the heel. Okay, so let's move on and start with the toe. So I'm going to start with magic circle. I'm going to wrap the yarn around my finger like this, insert my hook under, and grab the working yarn, pull through, take it off of my finger and chain through to fix it. And now I'm going to work 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So chain 1, this chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch here and throughout, and work 1 single crochet, and 6. So I have 6 single crochet that I have worked into the magic circle. Now we're going to close it. So if you look at the tail end, one of those strands is kind of at the bottom and the other one is coming out of the top. So I'm going to grab the bottom one, pull on it to tighten it up, and now pull on the tail end to tighten up that loop. Okay, and we're going to be working in joined rounds, so I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet to join. To work the second round, I'm going to chain 1 and work 2 single crochet into each stitch around. So 1 single crochet and second single crochet into the very same stitch, and repeat this around. I've got 12 single crochet stitches, slip stitch to the first one to join. For round 3, I'm going to chain 1, work 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the following stitch. And again, 1 single crochet in next, 2 single crochet in next one, and repeat this all the way around. I've got 18 stitches. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the first one to join, and for round number 4 we're going to chain 1, work 1 single crochet in 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in next stitch, and then 2 single crochet in the following stitch. So again, 1 single crochet in next, 1 single crochet in one after, and 2 single crochet in the next one. And again, repeat this pattern all the way around. At the end of this round, I've got 24 stitches, and then slip stitch into the first one. To start round number 5, I'm going to chain 1, work 1 single crochet in first stitch, 1 single crochet in next, and 1 single crochet in next one, and then 2 single crochet in the one after. So we've got 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet in the next one, and repeat this all the way around. And at the end of this round, I've got 30 stitches, so slip stitch to join. And at this point, you can either continue increasing if you wanted to make your stocking larger. For us, I'm going to stop at this point, and now what we're going to do is just work 2 rounds of single crochet in each stitch, and our flat circle is going to change the shape to the toe shape. So that's chain 1 and simply place 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and after that what your flat circle is going to do is kind of turn into the toe. Okay, so it's going to kind of bunch up at the top, and your flat circle is going to create this shape. After completing your toe part, we're going to move on to the foot, and we're going to start working on this interlocking crochet pattern. To start round 1, I'm going to chain 4. Now this counts as the first double crochet and chain 1 space. I'm going to miss the stitch at the bottom of the chain 4 and skip the next stitch, and I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the stitch after. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, skip the next stitch and work double crochet into the next, and again chain 1, skip the next stitch and double crochet in next. Repeat this pattern all the way around, and we will slip stitch into the first stitch to join. I have worked all the way around, working the last double crochet. What I'm going to do is chain 1 and slip stitch into the third chain of that beginning chain 4 to join. At this point you should have 15 double crochet stitches and 15 one chain spaces around your toe. This is when we're going to bring the second color in. Okay, so I'm going to join my color in, whatever method you use to join new yarn into your project, go ahead and do that. Do not cut the first color, because as you can see we'll be working with one color at a time but both colors going forward. Okay, to start round 2 we're gonna simply work 1 single crochet into the top of that beginning 3 chain. So go ahead and work single crochet, and now we're gonna look at the next skipped single crochet on the toe. So I'm going to go and work 1 double crochet into that skipped single crochet, work into the front of the one chain space and to the front of the work. Okay, so I'm working to the front, the one chain space is behind. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the next double crochet, work 1 double crochet into the next single crochet to the front of the work. Okay, if it's easier you could fold the round that we have done already to the back of it so it's not in your way. Okay, so fold it back and just do chain 1 and 1 double crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next single crochet. So this is gonna, we're at the moment creating kind of 2 mesh fabrics. Okay, 2 mesh rounds, so the round at the back and then this round to the front. And what we're gonna do on the subsequent rounds is actually interlock it together. But for these first 2 rounds, you can easily just fold it back. Okay, so I'm going to miss the double crochet and work double crochet into the next single crochet all the way around, and at the end I'm going to slip stitch into that single crochet that we did at the beginning, that is to replace the very first chain 1 space. Here I am at the end of round 2 and I worked double crochet, chain 1, and I've got 1 single crochet left. So I'm going to go ahead and work the double crochet, and now we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet. So after round 2 in the color B, you should also have 15 double crochet stitches and 15 chain 1 spaces, or 14 chain 1 spaces and a single crochet at the beginning that we have replaced the chain 1 at the beginning. So I'm going to drop yarn B to the back and I'm going to go and pick up my first color and just chain through to work with this first color. To start round 3, what I'm going to do is just chain through to fix this, and I'm going to look at the first beginning 3 chain and I'm going to work from post double crochet around the first double crochet 2 rounds below. So yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip the next double crochet and I'm gonna work front post double crochet around the next double crochet here. And as you can see, by doing so, we are locking the round 1 and round 2 together. It no longer comes apart. And again, chain 1, front post double crochet around to here. Now, this is a really super easy pattern because you can just work with yarn A around yarn A stitches and with yarn B around yarn B stitches. As you can see, we're creating these stripes. So that's your guide, that with the yarn A, you're always going to be working around the same colored stitches, okay? So there's no kind of crossing over the two colors. So to carry on with the pattern is again chain 1 and front post double crochet around the stitches. And as I said, we're locking the 2 mesh rounds together now. And here I am at the end of row 3 after working the last front post double crochet, chain 1 and slip stitch to the top of the first one to join the round. Now what I'm going to do is again drop this yarn to the back and pick up the other color, pull through, and I'm just going to tighten this loop and just chain through to fix it so it doesn't really go anywhere. And this is the same thing again for round 4. We're going to work 1 single crochet to the top of the first front post double crochet. And to work round 4, we're again going to work front post double crochet around the stitches in the same color. So chain 1, skip the next front post, work front post around the next front post double crochet from 2 rounds below, okay? So you're always going to be working 2 rounds below and always in the same color. So the stitches of the same color, you're going to be working with the same yarn color. And again, repeat this all the way around until you come to the beginning. I have finished round 4. For round 5, I'm again going to change color to color A. And again start with front post double crochet around the first front post double crochet 2 rounds below, chain 1, skip the next one and work front post double crochet around the front post double crochet 2 rounds below. So this is round number 5, and to continue with the pattern you will be alternating round 4 and round 5 until you have 10 rounds worked up altogether. Okay, so the way to count rounds, because when you look at the front you can't quite see the tops of the stitches, so if you wanted to count the rounds, all you've got to do is look on the wrong side of your work. And as you can see, you'll be counting the tops of the stitches here. So round 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how you count rounds in this interlocking crochet pattern. And I will meet you back once we work up the foot part. So just continue repeating round 4 and round 5 until we have 10 rounds altogether. And then I'll meet you back for round 11, which is gonna be the part where we're gonna, as you can see, create this split in your work, because this is where we're then gonna work the heel part. So I'll meet you for round 11, which is where we're gonna split the round for the heel. I have worked up 10 rounds altogether, which you can count on the inside as I showed you previously. To continue with round 11, I'm going to start with front post double crochet around the first one. then chain 1, and front post around the next one. And I'm going to continue this until we work up 17 stitches, counting the chain spaces as well. Okay, so go 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and as I said, continue until you have 17 stitches. Here we are, I have worked 17 stitches. As I said, you count the one chain space as a stitch as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now for the rest of the row, this is basically what we're gonna leave unworked, but to get back over to the beginning, we're gonna substitute the 13 stitches with a chain of 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's chain 13. And we're going to go all the way back to the first stitch and simply slip stitch to the first stitch. Okay, so this is where we are at the moment. As you can see, we have worked the first half, and then for the second half we just chained 13. Okay, so this is kind of the split that we are creating at the moment. We're gonna change to yarn B, and now we're gonna continue working up the leg. Okay, so again we're gonna start with single crochet into the first stitch, and then front post double crochet around the next one, chain 1, and work in the established pattern all the way around until we get to that chain, the chain 13 that we have created to split the foot for the heel. So let's go ahead and move over to there. And I've got the last front post double crochet on the main round, and this is the 17th stitch from previous round, so I'm going to chain 1, which is to replace this stitch, and my next stitch is going to be, normally we would be working obviously around the front post there, but we need to now start working across this row or across this foundation chain that we have made to create the heel. Okay, so I'm gonna miss the next front post double crochet here and place 1 double crochet into the first chain on that foundation chain that we have just made. Okay, chain 1, skip the next chain and work double crochet into the next, and again chain 1, miss the next chain, 1 double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet into the next. And this is basically repeating the pattern as when we first started, but now we're obviously going across the foundation chain that we have just made. So skip 1, double crochet in next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in next, and then to join back to the first one, we're going to simply slip stitch into the first single crochet. And as you can see, we have now created that split in the heel by chaining 13. So let's go ahead and work up a few more rounds together. Okay, so at this point, before moving on, we need to check that you have got 30 stitches altogether, or 15 double crochet stitches and 15 chain spaces. Okay, so Once you work this first round where you are working across that foundation chain for the heel, make sure that your stitch count adds up, okay? You should have 30 stitches altogether. Now let's go and change colors again to yarn A and work up the next round. And once we work across this foundation chain again with the next round, it's going to be pretty much the same as the main stitch, okay? So let's go ahead and chain 1 and start working around the first front post double crochet, chain 1 around the next one, and this is pretty straightforward up until we get to that heel, the split for the heel. And then we're going to do exactly the same what we did with yarn B, but obviously we'll be working filling in the gaps with yarn A. Okay, so let's go ahead and just work in the established pattern. There we go. And now do not, when you get to this point, okay, we've got this last front post double crochet in yarn B, but don't forget this front post double crochet in yarn A, okay, that we have worked. So let's go and work around the body of that stitch, which brings us onto the first double crochet in yarn B that we worked into the foundation chain. So I'm going to chain 1, skip that double crochet, and again work into the chain that we have skipped to the front of that chain 1 space behind. Okay, so we are establishing that interlocking pattern again. So we'll be working those two mesh patterns again that are going to be separating at the moment. So again, you could actually fold the other one back and just work in yarn A all the way across. Okay, make sure you're not twisting your foundation chain. So we're just basically gonna fill the gaps with the with yarn A. And again, after you finish this round, okay, so I'm across to the last double crochet, so I'm gonna slip stitch to the first front post. Okay, and again, when you look at the foundation chain that we have just worked across, okay, you've got the two mesh patterns that at the moment they come apart, but once we work up the next couple of rounds, again they're gonna get interlocked together. Once again, don't forget to count your stitches in yarn A, because you should have 30 stitches altogether, including those 1 chain spaces. For the following round, I've changed to yarn B again. So I'm going to work single crochet in the first stitch and then start with the front post double crochet, chain 1 and front post around the next one. And again, this is pretty straightforward pattern all the way around until we get to that foundation chain that we created and worked across. And here we go. I worked in the established pattern and now we are coming round to that foundation chain again. So I'm gonna skip the next front post double crochet there, chain 1, skip the next one. And now I'm going to be looking at interlocking these two mesh patterns together again across the heel. So I'm going to work front post double crochet around this double crochet on the foundation chain, chain 1, and again front post double crochet around the next, chain 1, and repeat this pattern all the way across the heel, okay, all the way across the back or across that new foundation chain that we created. There we go. And once we get to the end again, this is for these next few rounds, or these last couple of rounds and the next couple, it's very advisable to kind of keep tabs on your stitch count, because you don't want to miss stitches, or neither do you want to kind of gain loads of stitches. Right, we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, and there we go. By starting to work the front post double crochets, we are again interlocking those two mesh parts. Okay, now let's change to yarn A again, and again start working in the established pattern for the first half of your stocking until we get to that heel opening. And again, don't forget the last front post double crochet there, and that brings us onto that heel flap at the back, or the split for the heel. So chain 1. Now we're going to be working front post double crochets around those double crochets that we worked into the foundation chain. Okay, and it's pretty straightforward really, because you are sticking to the same color stitches with the color yarn you're working with. So the colors of the yarn pretty much guide you as to what stitch to work around. Here we go, and I'm on the last stitch there. Chain 1 and slip stitch to the first one. Okay, so that's basically the heel flap, or the heel split rather, created. And now we're just going to continue working in the established pattern. Okay, as you can see, that's the split bit we have created here, and now we're going to work around in the established pattern to work up the leg part. Again, you can adjust the height to what you want it to be, and then we're going to move on and finish the top off with the cuff, and then we're going to come back and create the heel. I have completed round 24. Now I'm going to change yarn back to yarn A, or the main yarn, and we're gonna work the last round before working on the cuff. Okay, so I'm gonna chain 1 just to gain a bit of height and work front post double crochet around the first stitch. And now, because we want to fix kind of these two mesh parts together, I'm gonna go ahead and work 1 single crochet into the top of the next front post double crochet, and again front post double crochet around the next. So as you can see, I'm still keeping to the same color, so working front post double crochets around the same color stitches, and then placing a single crochet into the top of the other front post double crochet. Okay, so this is just to finish off the last round, so it doesn't kind of come apart. Okay, so repeat this technique all the way around, and then we will be ready to work on the cuff. And to join the round, I'm going to slip stitch into the first from post double crochet. Now what we can do at this point is fasten off the other color, because we won't need this one now, so we can fasten off the yarn bee, and I'm just going to hide the end inside. This is the kind of the leg part of the stocking finish, so all we're gonna do now is work up the cuff. So I'll show you a couple of rows of this cuff. We're gonna work up on this stocking, okay? So what I'm gonna do is chain 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I'm gonna start working into the second chain from the hook. And I'm going to work 1 single crochet into each chain across the foundation chain that we have just made. So that's 4 and 5. And now I'm going to slip stitch into the same stitch where the foundation chain is worked out of. And I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to work back across, okay, so chain 1, and I'm working single crochet through back loop only for the first 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and when you get to the very last stitch, I'm going to work a standard single crochet under both loops. Okay, this just strengthens the top edge of your cuff. Chain 1, and I'm going to turn again, and I'm going to start with a solid single crochet under both loops, then work 4 single crochet through back loop only, down a cuff, and now we're going to look at the stitches on the main stocking, and I'm going to slip stitch into the next one, and again slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and turn again, and continue working again across the cuff by working 4 single crochet through back loop only, and for the very last stitch we're going to work under both front and back loop a standard single crochet, chain 1, turn, and again work back down the cuff by 1 single crochet, 4 single crochet through back loop only, and then again slip stitch on the main stocking into the next stitch once, and again into the next stitch, and that's basically how we're gonna work up the cuff. Okay, so we're gonna use all the stitches all the way around the stocking. Okay, so keep going until you use up all the stitches. Once you kind of get back to the end here, we're going to attach the cuff together by crocheting the last row with the underside of the foundation chain together. So I'll meet you back when it's time to do that. I have used up all the stitches around the top of the stocking, and now all that's left to do is attach the last row with the underside of the foundation chain. So I'm gonna go ahead and chain through. I'm gonna insert my hook through the first single crochet as well as the first stitch on the underside, and do single crochet. And now I'm gonna work through back loop only of the last row and inserting through the underside of the foundation chain as well. Okay, so this is really easy process to attach the last row with the underside of the foundation chain. And this last stitch, there we go, number 5. Off we go and chain through, and we can cut yarn now because our cuff is done. And obviously we'll have to sew this end in, but I'm just going to pull it through to the back, to the wrong side, and get it out of the way. There we go. So that's the top cuff finished. Now all that's left to do is just concentrate on finishing this heel, and then our mini stocking will be finished. So all that's left to do now is work on the heel. Okay, so we're gonna flip it over, and we're gonna find the first stitch that we have missed when we worked on round 11. Okay, so we have skipped 13 stitches on the main row, and then we have chained 13 stitches here to create the heel opening. So now what we're going to do is attach the yarn in that first skipped stitch, which is this one here, and we're going to pick up 13 stitches across the bottom and 13 stitches across the top. And for this part we'll also need a couple of stitch markers because we need to mark out a couple of stitches. Okay, so as I said, find the first stitch that you have skipped on round 11 where we created a heel opening, and I'm going to go ahead and join my yarn in that stitch, whatever method you use for joining your yarn, like this. And I'm going to get this end out of my way so it doesn't interfere. Okay, so I have joined in that first missed stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and work a single crochet into that first stitch. Then we're going to have a look, and what we've got in front of us is the one chain space, but I'm going to work a single crochet into the top of the next front post double crochet, working over that one chain space. So insert your hook into the top loops of that stitch, working over that one chain space as well. Okay, so we're kind of fixing it together again. Then single crochet into the top of the next front post double crochet, and repeat it all the way across the bottom. So we should have 13 stitches. Okay, don't forget to kind of fix it over that chain space so we have no gaps when we finish the heel. And as I said, because we missed 13 stitches, we should have 13 single crochet. Okay, now top of the last skipped stitch, and just to make sure, let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay, so I picked up 13 single crochet across the bottom. So now what we're going to do is pop a stitch marker into that last stitch we worked. Okay, so into stitch number 13, and then we're going to concentrate on the other half, and we're going to work into the underside of that foundation chain that we made. So I'm going to find the first stitch here and place one single crochet into the underside of that foundation chain. So that's 1, into the next one, 2, and again we will pick up 13 single crochet across the underside of that foundation chain. Okay, so keep going ahead, working into the bottom of each of that stitch. Okay, I have picked up another 13 single crochet, so let's just go ahead and count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Perfect. And now I'm gonna slip stitch into the first single crochet that we worked, first single crochet of the round. So let's slip stitch, and we need to place the second stitch marker into the last single crochet of that round. Okay, there we go. So we've got 13 single crochet, place the marker in a 13th stitch, and then the 13 single crochet on the other side, and we've got the stitch marker in the very last stitch. Now what we need to do now is decrease around these stitch markers. Okay, so we are gonna work across, decrease before the stitch marker, work into the stitch, the marked stitch, decrease after the stitch marker, then work all the way across to this one, again decrease before and then decrease after. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is start decreasing. Okay, so I'm gonna chain one, and because I'm in a first stitch, which means that's the stitch immediately after the stitch marker, we're gonna start the round by single crochet 2 together. Okay, so insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into the next one, yarn over, pull through. I've got 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So we have worked the 2 stitches together. Okay, now I'm going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across to the other stitch marker until 2 stitches before. Okay, so let's go ahead and work. And when you are approaching a stitch marker, we need to stop 2 stitches before. Okay, so I need to work 2 more stitches like this. And now, as you can see, I've got the marked stitch and 2 stitches before, so I'm going to work single crochet 2 together across these 2 stitches again. Okay, now I'm going to remove the stitch marker and work a standard single crochet into that marked stitch, and I'm going to place that stitch marker back into that stitch. And now the 2 stitches immediately after the marked stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet 2 together again. So insert and pull through, insert into next one and pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 3. Okay, and now again I'm going to continue working a single crochet into each stitch across until I get to 2 stitches before the other stitch marker. Okay, so let's go ahead and work 1 single crochet across, and I need 1 more, and here we go. I've got the marked stitch and 2 stitches before, so again I'm going to work single crochet 2 together across those 2 stitches, then remove the stitch marker, work 1 single crochet in that marked stitch, and put my stitch marker straight back in so I don't lose that stitch. And that brings us onto the first single crochet, so I'm going to slip stitch to close the round. Okay, and as you can see now, we have decreased by 4 stitches, so 2 stitches on that side and 2 stitches on the other side. So we're gonna repeat round 2, so that's the round we have just worked, another 4 times until you have 6 stitches left. Okay, so go ahead and work up your heel by starting with single crochet 2 together, then work all the way across until 2 stitches before the marked stitch, decrease, 1 single crochet in there, then decrease, work across, decrease here, and then join the round. And I'll meet you back when we have 6 stitches left, and then I'll show you how to just quickly finish off the heel when you've got 6 stitches left. I have worked 4 more rounds, decreasing at those 4 different points, and as you can see, my heel is finished. So all that's left to do is to fasten off, and I'm going to cut yarn but leaving a little bit of a longer tail. because what we can do here is just, there is a tiny teeny hole, if you can see, there's a tiny teeny hole there. So you could use a needle and just sew that up very, very quickly. It's not a big hole at all, so just a little bit of a whip stitch just to make it a bit more neat and tidy. Literally 3 or 4 stitches like this, and I'm gonna just make a quick knot to stop it coming out like this, and pop the end onto the inside like this, and I'm going to sew it in when I'm finishing it off. So let's just tuck it in. There we go, and that's your mini stocking finished. Now, one thing I'm going to say, I did standard single crochets on this mini stocking, but you do have the alternative to work in back loop only. Okay, so if you do it in back loop only, it will match your toe because the toe is worked in back loop only. So I didn't do it for this one because I just got carried away working on a heel, trying to teach you how to work on a heel. So this is a standard single crochet. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you wanted to match the toe, you could do the back loop only on the heel and on the toe. And same here again, I did standard single crochets on the toe and on the heel, so it's totally up to you, whatever you prefer. If you don't like working in back loop only, you could just work standard single crochet because it's gonna look just as cute. So I've just noticed that I didn't do back loop only on this circle either, so never mind. There you go, there's 2 versions. Let's just call that a mistake on purpose. So you can do standard single crochet or the single crochet through back loop only, so both of them will look just as cute. So, and that's finished. Your stocking is finished, apart from the fact that it's full of little ends inside. Don't know whether you can see it. So that's all that's left to do, is sew those ends in, and then your mini stocking is finished to be used for whatever you wanted to use for, as a decoration, gift card holder, whatever you want to use them for. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for any future videos or tutorials, and I would love to see your version of this cute mini stocking. So do tag me on social media if you happen to make one. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.